I'm doing well. I had a skipped week in the posts, mostly because I didn't see anything interesting to curate for a video. So I don't know. There's just nothing that new or interesting out there. So I thought I would revisit an old friend, and that friend is Yakult. Now, this is extremely hard to find. I just happened to be out of town and visiting one of my favorite groceries, and I saw it. So whenever I see Yakult, I always make sure to pick some up. One of the benefits of Yakult is it's simply one type of probiotic. And this probiotic definitely reaches the intestines. Yakult is beneficial. This probiotic, casei Shirota, has a lot of benefits, but it definitely reaches the intestines, and it can turn things around very fast as far as dysbiosis. It's one of the earliest Japanese success stories, discovered by, can't remember his first name, but his last name is definitely Shirota. Casei strain Shirota, and he was concerned about infectious bowel diseases like dysentery and things like that were occurring in China, or not China, Japan, at the early part of around the 1920s, and decided to start looking at beneficial bacteria. This is one, I believe it's derived from cheese whey. So it's another one of those benefits of taking a waste product and turning it into something beneficial, something I really admire about the Japanese. When they find something beneficial for the population, it usually ends up on the shelf for consumers, unlike the Western model where it generally gets hidden and all the components are studied, and then they try to create a drug. So that's the main difference between the Japanese and Western culture. The Japanese almost always turn health benefit and then put it on the shelf for the average consumer. If the West did that, there would be virtually no chronic disease because, as we know, drugs cannot and do not reach the mitochondria, whereas food always or almost always provides intracellular benefit. So some of the benefits of this, and it's just an association. I didn't write the article yet, that's why I'm not going to share screen, but the association between LKCI and a particular protein that is produced in the skin, the lungs, the intestines, and this protein protects against the body attacking itself. And it's found to be found to be not very abundant in celiac and IBD and other inflammatory bowel diseases like Crohn's, colitis, etc. So this is just an association, but there are studies for treatment of IBD where they genetically modified LKCI to produce this particular protein. And it's been studied in mice. It's been looked at in celiac and in IBD. And so far, it has been shown to greatly reduce inflammatory conditions in the intestines, but it's just an association. So I'm just going to stick with the known benefits of Yakult. And those are just a few of the known benefits. It definitely reaches the intestines. If you see that this contains fructose, don't freak out about it, because one of the studied benefits of Yakult is it helps protect against non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which, as we now know, along with alcohol, fructose is a major contributor to non-alcoholic fatty liver. So even though it contains fructose, there are bacteria that definitely consume fructose. So I wouldn't freak out about the fructose in this, and it's possibly also, even though I believe it's fermented with milk, the drink itself actually tastes fruity, and that is possibly due to the lactose intolerance in Japan. But Yakult also helps decrease lactose intolerance. So those are just some of the benefits, and I do have one of the best Yakult sites with the easiest to find studies that are arranged by specific conditions, and you can read all of the studies about Yakult. But the other proven benefit of Yakult is that it helps promote a healthy microbiome and crowds out bad bacteria. So for any kind of dysbiosis, Yakult is definitely proven to achieve the specific things that I mentioned, and the particular bacteria is being studied for major inflammatory bowel diseases like Crohn's, colitis, and celiac. But that's just an association regarding that protein and how they are using bacteria to express that protein and then turn it into a drug, I'm sure. So I always get things from food, and you always know food is going to far exceed the benefits of any drug or any pill. And this is just one, Yakult, so it can turn things around very fast. Give it a try for a month or so and see if it doesn't help you reverse numerous inflammatory and gastrointestinal conditions. And you might want to look up, there are some people on YouTube who teach you how to use Yakult to make different probiotic drinks, although I don't. Some of them might be okay, but I haven't tried it specifically yet. If you're interested in producing the same bacteria, fermenting the same bacteria, and cutting down on the cost of Yakult, I think it's about $7 for 6 or 7 bottles, and it has to be refrigerated. You should consume at least one a day. If you want to mix this with your colostrum, it's excellent. It will not mix with colostrum. You do have to mix your colostrum in yogurt first, and then your colostrum will dissolve, and then you can add this, and you can add your kefir, and it's a very nice tart little drink, and you'll still increase the beneficial bacteria just from colostrum alone 52-fold. So you can use these together and give you a quick start to improving your gut health. And in turn, you can look at all the other studies regarding immune health and things like respiratory problems. And that's another thing, this particular protein is being looked at for respiratory problems like pneumonia, sepsis, things like that. It helps prevent the body from attacking itself. And if you read the studies regarding Yakult, you can see them regarding, I believe there are a few in there regarding sepsis and things like that. So any type of lung conditions, it might also help as well. And just overall immunity and things like that. As we know, that's what a good gut does, is 80% of your immune system, and you have to keep it in homeostasis. Bad diets, bad water, things like that, chemicals can definitely create dysbiosis, and it can happen to anyone. So anytime you want to get back on track and get yourself back into homeostasis, Yakult is a good probiotic to reach for. Okay, have a good one, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi, everyone. A short footnote to the last video, mostly regarding Yakult, dysbiosis, various bowel conditions. IBD is not caused by leaky gut. IBD is caused by a dysfunctional autophagic system and or checkpoint inhibitor drugs, a new type of colitis, IBD categorized condition. And if you want to learn more about that, you can find one of the first cases of this on my site and just do a search for checkpoint inhibitor or checkpoint blockade toxicity. The best way to wake up senescent cells and induce autophagy is with milk or lactose. That will, especially if you're elderly, everyone can pretty much handle 250 milliliters of lactose with no problems. So the best way, if you feel you're lactose intolerant, that is mostly because you're no longer making the enzymes to digest lactose. But regarding Yakult, it's a fermented dairy product, but you don't have to worry about lactose in Yakult for the most part. But anyway, I just thought that was an important point that I wanted to make. Regarding IBD, it is not caused by leaky gut. Okay, thanks again, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye.